Alright, welcome back everyone. This is a part 2 of creating a walk inside the Wick animation program. So we're going to go ahead and get some drawing down here. We're going to start with the two most important poses, and that is the contact pose. So it's this first one over here and this last one over here. And again, they're really kind of the same pose, they're just flipped. Okay, so you can go about this a couple different ways. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to hold down the letter X, allows me to pan and grab my brush tool. In part 1 I showed my brush settings, so of course you can go ahead and you can trace if you're using a reference image like I am right here. If that helps you out, great. Drawing it freehand is always recommended, as that's going to go ahead and give you a little bit more drawing experience. You can also come over here and grab the ellipse tool. When you grab the ellipse tool and you start dragging it out, if you hold down the shift key, it'll make it a perfect circle. And when I let go, I can then come grab the cursor tool and select it. And again, while this looks perfect, it loses some of its hand-drawn charm, but go for it. You can then come over here and realize, oh, I didn't mean to fill it, and maybe I don't want the black stroke there. So you can come over here for the fill, and we can set the fill opacity to 0. And then for the stroke, we can give it the blue color, increase the weight maybe to 3. And there we go. Okay. I'm just realizing that I think I didn't lock my guidelines layer and my reference layer, so something could accidentally happen to those, and I don't want that to be the case. So I'm going to go ahead and select those, come over here, click on lock, reference, lock, there we go, sleep better at night. Okay, so now I can go ahead and take this and get it right about where it goes, and actually that's pretty darn good. If you made a mistake, you of course can click and drag on one of these corner handles here, hold down the shift key, and you can scale the circle up or down, and there you are. Okay. This character kind of has no neck, that's fine. You could also do this style where the character's head is a little smaller, or actually maybe not smaller, but you lower the shoulders a little bit, so that way there's a space in between, leaving space for a neck. What we can also do now is once we've got the head, we can then go ahead and press Command D or Control D on a Windows or Chrome device, and that can be your waist and the hips. And again, you can make the hips and the waist a little larger or a little smaller if you want. Great, and kind of go get them into place. Okay, so something like that. And you can see in this contact pose, the character is kind of leaning forward a little bit. You could also have him or her or it going just straight up and down if you'd rather, so that's fine as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause, and I'll be right back when I'm done sketching this character. Alright, so there's my super simple character trace there, and that is frame 1. So standard, quote-unquote standard normal walks, as there are not really normal walks out there, as they're so individual, are typically considered a 12-frame process. And so on frame 13 will be the next contact. So about standard couple of steps, 12 frames. So if we look over here, this would be frame 13. And if you look at the reference image here, you can see how that's all kind of timed out. So I'm going to go ahead and go to frame 13, and you'll notice that what happens is as soon as I make frame 13, frame 1 will fill in all the gaps. So don't get alarmed if that happens or when that happens. So I'll click over here on frame 13, click to make a frame, and I'll go ahead and draw my character again. And you'll see that these characters don't have any arms, of course. And that's my suggestion: is when you're learning walk cycles, don't include the arms at first. Just get the walk looking, feeling, moving properly, and then you can go ahead and add the arms, because they do complicate things. Okay. And you can see I'm making my character's torso a little bit shorter, just so I can get that possibly neck in there. Okay, so moving backwards here, let me zoom out. The next important pose to draw is the passing pose, otherwise known as the breakdown pose, and that's the one here in the middle, and that's where the legs and arms are passing over each other, and that is going to be on frame 7. So find frame 7 in your timeline, add a frame, breaks it up. Now the great thing about using wick with this is, certainly since all of these brushstrokes are vectors, you can certainly move them. So if you think the head should go up a little higher, you can do that just by using, whoops, forgot to draw the waist. You can really position everything around. Now remember that the passing pose is not the highest pose. That's the up pose over here. Some people like to just draw the feet just going right through and then do your cleanup later. Just allows you to get better lines. And this is your rough anyway, so it doesn't matter. Just be direct about your line making. Okay. Let's recenter. So now I'm going to go ahead and hide my reference layer. There we go. Go ahead and save, just in case. Okay. All right. So there we go. That is 12 frames per second on a 13 frame animation. Of course, all of these frames need to, their timing needs to be fixed, but you can start to see it appearing. All right. This will be it for part 2. I will see you in the next one. Thanks, everyone.